Hello, Mayor, City Council. My name is Doug Benny. I'm the Economic Development Manager for the city, and I'd like to give you a very brief update on our economic vitality programs and introduce you to a set of 4 testimonial videos that were recently produced. So, our 4 programs that we offer in the Economic Vitality Department include a business startup grant, which is a $2,000 grant for retail storefront businesses. We have a business improvement grant, which is a grant program that provides up to $7,500 for businesses making permanent structural improvements to their facilities. We have the Longmont Economic Gardening Program, which provides data, strategic planning, and training under one umbrella program. And finally, we have the Small Business Lending Program, which is a partnership with the Colorado Enterprise Fund, providing access to capital for local businesses. So I'd like to introduce to you what is new in each of these programs, with the understanding that we still provide one-stop shop business assistance in our Development Services Center for these various programs. The first program, the Business Startup Grant, what's new with that is we are now allowing businesses that have alley access on both the east and west side of Main Streets from 3rd to 6th Avenues will be eligible for a $2,000 startup grant. In the Business Improvement Grant, we have modified the business plan requirement to include a specific set of financials that is somewhat short of an entire business plan for those businesses that have been in operation 5 years or longer. In the Longmont Economic Gardening Initiative, new for 2012 and also scheduled for 2013, is a bilingual business planning series. This provided the opportunity to have a business training program that included 4 distinct workshops with 4 consulting sessions as well for each attendee. In the Small Business Lending Program, we have changed 2 things. We have, first of all, made all of our loans 7.99%, and we have removed the previous $50,000 cap. And finally, the videos that I mentioned earlier, I'd like to introduce you to 4 videos. Each of these videos outline the programs I've just discussed, and they are available at You Belong in Longmont website and also the Economic Development website on the city's webpage. Thank you.
Fabulous Finds Upscale Consignment is a consignment store catering to women, though we do now have a large home decor showroom, which is just over 2,000 square feet. We have expanded 3 times in the span of 13 months. There's an excitement when you're starting your own business. Becoming an entrepreneur is really one of the most exciting things to do.
When we started writing our business plan, sitting around my kitchen table, we became aware that there were gaps in our knowledge or ability, and we started looking into the programs that were offered by the City of Longmont in the Economic Vitality Group.
We took advantage of many of the, if not all, of the small business startup classes that they offered.
I went to a QuickBooks program. I've gone to a couple of different business planning offerings that they've had. But when you're actually writing your business plan and you go, it's so beneficial.
In addition to just creating a business plan, it's the whole social media, gaining a knowledge base in that.
And there's usually a free hour of consultation with the instructor that teaches the class. So you not only start to build your network of professional resources that you're going to pay for, but you can get some free advice from them, totally targeted to your business.
Meeting other small business, either prospectives or ones who already are up and running, was invaluable because they've already either made some mistakes or covered the basis of what you've got questions on, and having that free exchange of ideas is wonderful. The Business Startup Grant was absolutely fabulous to know that we had that $2,000. Some of the things when you're starting your business you don't anticipate the cost of, and one of those was signage.
We've just been able to utilize their startup grant because we're a brick and mortar location. We were very cognizant of what they were offering us as new business owners and utilized as much as we could.
We did have some initial funding, but we did this on a shoestring. And so that $2,000 was very instrumental. I really encourage other small businesses to take advantage of everything that the City of Longmont has to offer.
It was just a real boost to our morale as we opened the business to know that the City of Longmont was behind our success.
This is an absolutely fabulous city to do business in. Working with the city has been instrumental in our success.
We're at Sunrose Cafe in Longmont, Colorado.
Sunrose Cafe is just a cafe that's devoted to fresh cuisine. We're at 379 Main Street, downtown Longmont, and it was built in, I believe, 1887, and there's an original tin ceiling in here that was actually installed in 1890.
Just love Longmont.
As far as the city itself, they're very business friendly. They're very approachable, and I think they're very proactive in also approaching businesses as well.
We're so busy working all the time, we don't always know what's going on out there. And we get individuals that will come over and tell us, hey, this is available to you. And they've been very supportive, and they've seen how much we've grown in the past 3 years. And I think they, can see that we're a business that we really care about Longmont and what we're doing here, and want us to succeed.
In short, to get some marketing advice, and also just as a sounding board in some cases of what's this town about and what can we do here. And in the long, we were able to secure a grant, which then allowed us to purchase some equipment and to make some upgrades that really gave us more opportunity to grow as a business.
The city came to us with this business improvement grant, and so with the loan that we'd gotten with their help, then we finished the back room, part of it. And so that was a permanent improvement, so then we could apply for the grant as well. And then with the grant money, we ended up being able to get the equipment to finish off so we have a prep room back there.
It just gave us an opportunity to turn the corner a little bit and realize a new level of potential that we have. We've been open over 3 years. And we are always looking to evolve, always looking to change and grow, and we'd like to do that right along with the city.
Here we go, guys. Turn left. Turn left. It's a dog walking and pet sitting service. Come on, Harley. Pet sitter basically comes in and meets with you and the animals, gets to know the animals' temperaments and routines, and basically we try to replicate their day as much as possible when their people are away. Come on, Ava. Come on, girl. For me, for Daytime Doggy Daddy, I'm a very, very, very small business. I don't have employees. I do all of the visits. I'm able to make sure that everything's being done to the highest quality and standard that I can. Longmont has been amazing. My wife and I are almost on a weekly basis. We'll encounter some situation where we look at each other and we're like, man, I love it here. It's an unusual feeling to me to be supported like that by the city that I live in. LEGI is a Longmont Economic Gardening Initiative, which was a little confusing to me at first because I thought it was going to be about horticulture, but it's not. And the name is actually pretty accurately descriptive in that it's helping grow small businesses. One of the first ways that LEGI really helped me was in connecting me with resources that a fledgling small business needs. They worked very, very hard on creating a targeted mailing. And we met 3 or 4 different times and talked about what criteria we wanted the mailing list to meet. And I could not have done something like that without them. It was no expense to me, which was really amazing. Go dogs, come on. Good boy, Tucker. One of the fantastic free resources I was connected to through LEGI was I went to an SEO, search engine optimization workshop. Through that, I got a one-hour session with the presenter, which was fabulously informative and really got me to see how badly I was doing it, how wrong I had gotten things and what I needed to do. good cookie. Had I not had access to the resources I got through Leggy, certainly the launch of my business would have been put off probably several months, and I wouldn't have been able to sort of dive in the position that I was in. Stay with me, Tucker. Come on, buddy. Good boy. Certainly the future looks very bright. Oh, I love you too. Love you too.
Bulk oats and almonds and grains and beans and things like that are pretty much commonplace. But when you add in laundry detergents and shampoos and lotions and even pet food, it becomes a larger concept. And that larger concept is developed into Simply Bulk Market. The Small Business Lending Program gave me the opportunity as a startup business to secure funds and not so much in the traditional go to the bank and talk to a loan officer. The small business program actually gave me the opportunity to sit down and talk to and walk through the business plan, my business plan for the business, and secure funding through maybe not so much a traditional avenue. 2283, please. From the start, it was really building the foundation of the business and securing the funding to go forward. Once that piece was in place, then the city came in and offered different workshops. They're always there to offer guidance. I've been open a little over 2 years and I've attended at least a dozen different workshops sponsored by the city. So I see that as part of my development as a business owner, to continue to use those resources. 99.9% of them are free. You know, my investment is my time. And as a businessman, that's a magic number for me. Longmont is really active when it comes to bringing activities downtown, which for me as a businessman is ideal. I do really truly believe that without the city's interest and help and pulling this together, I wouldn't be operating the store today. And thank you much. You have a good day. Longmont is definitely my home.
Hello, members of council. I'm Joe Ward, Executive Director of Visit Longmont, and I wanted to say I appreciate the opportunity to get in front of you and speak a little bit more in detail about what's been going on at Visit Longmont since I arrived to take over the Longmont Area Visitors Association in January. And as many of you know, we had changed our doing business as name and our brand name to Visit Longmont. But I think when I got here, I would say it's a very young organization, as many of you know, with limited track record of success of certainly directors. And I think what we've really tried to focus on in the first 7 months is a true assessment period, to really be able to look at what the Longmont community has as far as a tourism product, what our organization does, do we do the right things, etc. And so what I really want to do is get into our mission statement, and as far as just to kind of overview where we are, not spend too much time on all those details of a mission statement, because as we know, we often do many different things than just our mission states. But for us, if you'll take a look, our mission statement is the mission of Visit Longmont is to support, market, develop, and enhance historical, cultural, business, meeting, and recreational activities that draw regional, national, and international tourism to the city of Longmont and surrounding areas in order to establish and develop the city of Longmont as a desirable destination for visitors and enrich the economic well-being of the community. And I would just say the mission statement answers our questions: what business are we in and why do we exist? And serves as a rallying point for the organization. The mission of Visit Longmont demands that all organizational activities be congruent and calls for accountability that accurately reflects the organization's role as an economic development engine and partner in the community. There is need for, it's become very clear, let's just say that there is need for continued clarity regarding the purpose of Visit Longmont, its role and scope, performance measures, strategic direction, and contribution to the community. Without clear direction, success may be limited, and I believe it has been over the last few years. The strategic process has, as one of its primary objectives, that process of clarification. Consensus in the community seems to be that Visit Longmont to date has achieved limited success, and people rightfully wonder, what do they do over there? While Visit Longmont appears to be doing the things they do right, an important question does need to be answered. Is it doing, and by that I mean, are we doing the right things, and when we do them, are we doing enough of them? So Visit Longmont's value is difficult to measure under its current deployment strategy. An expanded role and scope for Visit Longmont will likely raise capacity questions. Accountability is not clear to investors or potential investors, and performance is difficult to assess without clear objectives and a more defined reporting process in place. The lack of our membership base, the fact that we are a non-membership bureau, allows Visit Longmont to focus on its true customer, the visitor. That's a very big positive for us. Visit Longmont should be a marketing organization and not a trade association. I believe that was set up very well when the city and its partners set up the organization years ago. There is, however, value in partnerships, and let's just say significant value in all of our partnerships with the community. Where the Visit Longmont administrative offices are housed is also a question on the minds of several constituents, and including that would be a welcome center. This question needs to be answered in sequence after its role, scope, and performance measures have been clarified. For the destination to be successful, the organization must function like a business, be proactive, and respond quickly in a changing marketplace. As I see it, and as many industry best practice folks believe, that the destination is really brought up of destination dimensions that come together in a puzzle that fits the community together. So I would say with Longmont, we'll see success in developing increased visitation as having these 4 dimensions in place. Product development, which really includes marketing, public relations, visitor experience, sorry about that. The product development piece, marketing, visitor experience, and industry community relationships. These 4 dimensions are interrelated and interdependent, and they must all be well developed in order for the destination to accomplish its goals in terms of maximizing the impact of tourism in the community in a positive way. Tourism development within these 4 dimensions is a function of the destination's key leadership. The current strategic planning process clarifies Visit Longmont's role and our responsibility in this regard. Product development is really developing, preserving, and maintaining attractions, accommodations, facilities, and infrastructure that are consistent with the marketing image and meet the needs of the visitor. These are things such as what role will we play in the redevelopment of downtown, First and Main project, river corridors. These things come up. What is an appropriate place, an appropriate role for Visit Longmont to play? Many bureaus across the country have found themselves later on saying, geez, we wish we'd have been more focused on the community and not just solely focused on a sales position, so we could actually impact in a positive way the tourism industry going down the road. Marketing, we need to establish a clear image and ensure the resources needed to promote that image effectively to the appropriate markets. Ensuring, under visitor experience, ensuring satisfaction for visitors through a coordinated effort to provide experiences in an environment that is consistent with expectations. We want people to come back. We want to perhaps even undersell and over-deliver. We want people to have memories. We want to create memories for people here in Longmont. Building productive relationships throughout the industry and the community that recognize the interdependence of all entities and support their mutual objectives. In our position, we're often asked a lot about what's going on here and what's going on over there and how does this political situation impact your business. And I think for us, it's critical that we have better, increasing, more interdependent relationships. And I actually would have to say I believe that that's one of the biggest things that we've accomplished in the last 7 months. And I also, our involvement with the city and our involvement with our partners has been increasing, I would say, by the day. Basic ideals and principles that govern the way Visit Longmont plans and conducts business are really important. All operations, activities, and plans of Visit Longmont must fall within the framework. Sorry about that. All operations, activities, and plans of Visit Longmont must fall within the framework of these imperatives, which means they allow Visit Longmont to say yes and no to requests that do not align with our strategies. So yes to the right things and no to ones that, you know what, they just might not fit our strategic plan. You can't, it's very impossible to say yes to everything and every request in the community, as all of us know. In response to the mission, which clearly defines Visit Longmont's business and marketing and economic impact, these operational imperatives limit Visit Longmont's relationship with events to marketing. So we're talking about specifically about events. We don't necessarily want to be in the event creating business, but we definitely want to be in the event marketing business and in the event facilitation business, where there is no doubt, because this is a very strong event area and could be even stronger. Unless, I would say, and only if the event supports Visit Longmont's mission and performance measures, which should come back to return on investment. So we also have with our customers, individual business and leisure visitors, trade press, group tour, and meeting event planners. Our community partners, such as the City of Longmont, our hospitality partners, Chamber of Commerce, LDDA, the LAEC, and many others that are out there in the community, the hospital being one. The community, beneficiaries, of course, the community, governments, and the hospitality industry as a whole. And I think our focus will be on the ideal market visitor to ensure that the best return on investment. You can't be all things to all people. Who is our ideal visitor? How do we reach them? And how do we, again, over-deliver on their expectations? For example, I believe that performance indicators, performance indicators are mechanisms that determine the success of the tourism industry within a given destination, indicate the impact of Visit Longmont's efforts. These are not things that are necessarily showing whether Visit Longmont is doing good or doing bad. It's showing whether the industry is doing good or bad, and we can't necessarily be responsible for all those things. And those would be the economic impact of tourism, the length of stay, hotel occupancy, lodging tax collections, average daily rate at the hotels, per person expenditures. Knowing where these things are really give an idea of where the industry is going, and we may be able to say, yeah, we've had some impact on that, but we're not the sole people that can have an impact. Now, and attraction attendance would be another one. Performance measures, though, mechanisms that determine Visit Longmont's success when targets are applied and reached, you'd say return on investment directly from the organization, inquiries generated, fulfilled, and converted, website reach and conversion, media reach, earned media, something the city does very well at already. What role can we play at to get more earned media out there, more free publicity when you're talking about beers and great shopping alternatives and some of the foodie options in our community? Cooperative resources generated. That means, let's say for a visitor's guide, instead of just having a pay-to-play to be in the visitor's guide, everybody gets represented, but you get enhancements that can allow us to offset some of the budget concerns by giving people some enhancements for further partnership opportunities and perhaps at a, with some investment from their end to show their commitment. I would say room night bookings directly through our organization, meetings, group tours, events. Those are things that Visit Longmont should be held accountable to. Leads generated and converted, and growth and percentage of budget related to marketing. So I would say that after looking at this, you looking towards that goal of what are the real performance, not just the indicators, but the real measures of our organization. There are some real operational imperatives that are crucial to Visit Longmont's success. One, we need to hold ourselves accountable for achieving its missions and objectives. I don't think we shouldn't be afraid to stand up and raise our hand and say, yeah, ask us questions, hold us accountable. Primarily maintain a long-term strategic focus and partners with others in the industry to respond to short-term marketing opportunities. So we always have to keep an eye a few steps ahead, but at the same time help our partners deliver today, because those are the folks that need to be in business today and in the future. We also need to recognize which constituent groups represent its customers, partners, and beneficiaries, and respond to their needs and expectations accordingly. We need to be responsive to data. We need to get visitor feedback, market research, cost-benefit analysis, and other appropriate input. Visit Longmont has never gotten that in any of its formations. And it's sort of, you just can't shoot in the dark. You need to know a little bit more about your customer and about who your real market is. We need to protect the existing markets we do have while taking advantage of new market opportunities. What markets do we have? Well, we're certainly making inroads in the beer tourism type things, certainly with the proximity to attractions in the area. We have a strong market for that. We are, as we've called before, Center of Colorado Adventure. But the truth is, this is a great place to stay for something like the USA Pro Challenge bike tournament or bike race, where you could stay in Longmont and see 3-4 destinations at once. I think we really need to play those types of things up and move forward with helping the current things that are here continue to succeed, as well as reach out to new markets. We need to track and communicate the results of those efforts. So City Council, our community partners, they can all say, yeah, do we believe Visit Longmont's doing good? Yeah, and this is why. Or no, and this is why. They need to accept a leadership role in pursuit of our mission. I would say, instead of just being invited to the table about certain discussions, perhaps in the future we can convene the table and get more people together. And we also need to adhere to the highest quality standards in all of our actions. We need to really have higher expectations for ourselves and deliver. We need to provide marketing to generate visitation to the destination with some effort to influence visitors after their arrival. And what I mean by this is that we spend a lot of time right now handing out visitors guides to people who are already here. But what are we doing, and what can we do to introduce Longmont to new people through public relations efforts, marketing efforts, partnership efforts with places like Visit Denver, for instance, or travel planners or beer press out there in the community, out there in the United States and the world. So we would also focus primarily on overnight visitation without losing sight of the positive economic impact of day trip business. And I think that's important here, because when I started, everybody talked about lodging tax, which of course is important to increase. But the truth is, if we get 2,000-3,000 more people coming up from Denver every month, the shops on Main Street, our stores, our gas stations will be more successful and allow us to have that flexibility to reach for future goals. So we cannot lose focus on day trip business, which can really increase with some of the nice trips we have here, which, although may not be a week's worth of a vacation for everybody, there's certainly a day, 2 days where you can get up and enjoy Longmont. We will assist in marketing or sponsoring events that are consistent with mission and performance measures. I kind of got into that a little bit earlier. Rely on partnerships and cooperative resources to expand its marketing reach. And I would just say that those are some things that I believe, as we go through the strategic planning process, which is really just about to wrap up, that's the basis for it. I do think Visit Longmont needs to be held accountable in a return on investment format that I laid out with true performance measures, and also let performance indicators for the industry guide us. And I would say, and also with the planning that we've been doing, with laying that out, which really focusing on a systematic approach and spelling it out to the community, we've also been working on some things this year that are sort of with that in mind. And just a couple months ago, we released our new visitlongmont.org website, which I believe is more representative of the community, and increases and asks for a lot of partnership from people to post events, post stories, blog items, and so we're very proud of it. And as it is in the internet world, as soon as you put it out, it's immediately obsolete. So we're working to keep it updated and keep taking advantage of the electronic industry. So I would say we've also increased our social media presence. We're getting very involved in Twitter and Facebook and Pinterest and things like that out there. That is really the digital world. The digital world is now a way of life for all of us in the marketing industry, not just something we like to do or need to have some plan for. It is a way of life. We need to increase our support for events, and we did, I would say. We increased in support for events that bring a substantial return on investment for the community. The Coloradans, the Tour de Cure, the American Junior Golf Association tournament, which was here, which had 96 golfers from 32 different states here in Longmont this summer. Tour de Cure, we did a Visit Longmont beer garden involving our local breweries, so that was a very exciting event. We have worked very hard on establishing and cultivating key relationships with stakeholders and industry partners. There's always a long way to go, but I believe Visit Longmont now has the seat at the table, and down the road, as I said earlier, we will be able to convene the table at times when it's appropriate. We have increased substantially our communication with travel media, partnering with the breweries when they're already having travel writers here to get Longmont in the stories, not just focus on the breweries and Colorado beer, but Longmont beer and the Longmont product and their significant contribution to our economy. So therefore, also the strategic planning process, as we've talked about thoroughly here, is almost completed. To go back to social media a little bit, our Facebook likes this year have increased by 540%, but I'm the first to also say that unfortunately right now we're hovering right around 200 of those, but arrived, we had 33. So there's a long way to go in just about every category, but we're moving in the right directions, and the trends are starting to, the data is starting to support that. Our Twitter followers have climbed 34.9% since January. And our LEAD program, which has been established to respond to Front Range cooperative programs that we partner in with all the Front Range communities, we're getting now about 5,000 leads per year. We had been getting that, and I could say that not one lead was responded to in 3 years, but this year we started responding to these people, communicating with them. They're showing an interest in Longmont. How can we certainly don't want to ignore them, we're embracing them. And so that's an exciting thing, because we're actually finding about 5,000 people a year who have already show interest in Longmont and just want to be communicated to, and we're doing that now. And the lodging tax increase this year is great, and another indicator. Currently showing a 12% increase year to date, and showed a 38% increase in June. So those are some of the things that we've spelled out. I certainly am looking forward to talking to you more as time goes on, and open to all your questions and concerns. And the next stage of this process is really just outlining the strategies and tactics to see us accomplish more in the future. So thank you for the opportunity again to speak with you, and I look forward to the engagement very soon. Thank you.